I am here with my dear friend Buzz the Bee from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. You are going to want to keep a close eye on the weather today, am I right? And let me tell you, it's time now for your local weather report, brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Let's buzz on over to the Main Street Media TV Weather Center.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Good Thursday morning. I'm Kelly Rawson here in the Home Weather Center. It is downright cold out there this morning. We have temperatures in the teens with wind chill values thanks to that northerly wind into the lower single digits. So if you are out and about early this morning, be sure you are bundling up because it is very cold, not only the air temperatures, but also those wind chill values. As we go throughout the rest of your Thursday, we will again continue to see a northerly wind temperatures in the lower to mid 20s by afternoon. I'm thinking mid 20s to maybe sneaking up into the upper 20s by the afternoon. We will see a little bit of sunshine, but as air temperatures stay below freezing, we won't see a significant melting, but with that sunshine, we could see a little bit of melting on the roadways to help our road conditions just a little bit. That wind will also help to dry us up, but if there is any sort of moisture left over, we will once again see some refreezing and slick spots overnight into Friday morning as well. So be very, very careful if you're heading out, not only this morning, but also tomorrow morning, as well as we stay on the colder side through your Friday. Check it out heading into the weekend. Temperatures don't get above freezing until Friday afternoon across the board, but again, a very chilly night for tonight. Heading into Saturday though, and this will be the trend going into the weekend, we are looking significantly warmer. We jump 10 degrees from Friday to Saturday as we stay partly cloudy to mostly sunny. The good news is with the next 7 days, we are looking mostly dry. Temperatures again warming up for the second half of the weekend. Sunday looking like temperatures in the mid or lower 50s, I should say. And then we jump another 10 degrees heading into Monday, 62. And then we are in the mid 60s by Tuesday with our next rain chance by Wednesday.
Thank you for that update. Tune in each day on Mornings on Main Street for an up-to-date weather report brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. All of their contact information is below. Have a great day.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. Hi, kids. Hot tea, please.
This morning, we are going to touch on New Year's resolutions, which so many of us make as part of just personal growth, whether it be in our job or our health, our mental state, our emotional state. But how do we stay successful? How do we set ourselves up for success, for longevity in our goals? To help us this morning to maybe answer that question and to hopefully give some tips, we have Helen Tarleton. She is the psychotherapist with Nashville Psych. Helen, first off, good morning, and thank you so much for giving us your time.
Hi, thank you for offering the possibility to do this. I love sharing these ideas. Appreciate it.
And I know we're going to love hearing this. So, of course, many of us being the start of the year, it's like that resolution. We're going to do this. What is step one for anyone out here for whatever resolution to make it a successful one?
I think step one is kind of how do you feel about the word resolution? Because, sometimes that word can feel very inspiring and other times it just kind of invokes some dread, and so if you, I think the first question is, am I good with that word, or do I want to use something like intention or aspiration or something that's a little softer? Some people need that. Some people need the motivation of a bold word like that.
I like the aspiration. It doesn't sound as daunting.
Mm-hmm. I sometimes think that if you say resolution, then you're really focused on the end. There's something about to be resolved means that you are determined that it's going to get to this point and that's going to be the point. And I guess that's what a goal is to some extent. But resolution sounds like something out of the United Nations. You know?
It does. Well, okay, so we're making this aspiration of what we would like to do in that growth.
Mhm.
What questions can we ask ourselves, I guess, beforehand, whether it be, right now, of course, it's January, or any time that we want to make that change and just for betterment?
I think part of it is what's going to be the fuel that keeps me going in this process. Because it is a process. It's not just it's not you make the decision and then you do something and then you either evaluate whether you've succeeded or failed. It's a process. And what is going to keep me invested in the process? What kinds of things can I get curious about that would allow me to maintain my focus on what it is that I'm trying to change?
So say we lose that focus. And again, you said the word fail, and failure isn't always a negative, or you can change your perspective on that. What do you say to those who, they're like, okay, I started this, but then I fell off, or I'm failing at it. What do you say to them at that point?
I have a great friend who's a learning specialist at a school here in town, and she works with her students a lot to help them understand that learning is really a cycle, that there's a learning cycle. It's not just something that you do. And so I think it's really important to understand frustration and failure as part of the learning cycle. You never learn something new without some amount of failure. And if the failure causes you to stop, then you never really develop the habituated responses that you need to be able to feel skillful at something.
You're so right. And, and I'm going back to thinking like, the small steps maybe to take. Because again, what is that saying? Don't bite off more than you can chew, or that take one bite of that elephant at a time. I don't know which one would best go for this, but is that what we should do with that aspiration, that resolution?
Well, one of my backgrounds is in Japanese psychology, and one of the forms of Japanese psychology is something called Kaizen. And you can find it. It's kind of ubiquitous on the web, on the internet. It was developed by a man in the United States, and then it was brought to Japan. And companies like Toyota have used it to be successful. And it really has to do with taking the smallest step possible that you're least likely to fail at, or most likely to succeed at. So yes, I think the first question about a good New Year's resolution is this something that I can break down into tiny little steps and manage to do one small step at a time, because it's those incremental successes that are dopamine hits for our system that allow us to feel good about the change that we're making. And then if you do run, sort of fall into a rut, it's great to just ask, what's the next best tiny thing that I could do to move myself from being in the rut to heading in the right direction again.
So can those incremental steps, those small steps, be used on kind of the broader scale of just well-being? I know for some people it's just, I just want just well-being in the new year. Is that possible?
Yes, absolutely. I think that we oftentimes imagine that change happens in these profound ways, like this epiphany or this big, you feel like if it's not a lightning bolt, you're not doing well. But actually what I've seen in my practice is the most lasting, the best kinds of changes are changes that happen really gradually, the kind that's sort of like water, the way water changes a canyon. It's just a very small, gradual change. And so I think that's effective in almost anything. It's almost like if you're making a recipe, and you think it needs salt, you're not going to dump in a whole bunch of salt. You're going to do a little bit of salt and see how it does. And then you're going to add a little more if you think it needs more. And I think that's true of just about everything.
We're not done with Helen yet. We will pick back up on our New Year's resolution and well-being tips when we come back. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Step into the Lionel retail store at Opry Mills, Nashville, and you'll be captivated by all the magic of the 123-year history of Lionel trains. Whether you're already a train enthusiast or just getting started, Lionel will energize your love for trains. NASCAR fan? Come check out your local Lionel station to learn all there is to know about model trains and die-cast NASCAR collectibles. Visit nashville.lionel.com or call 615-455-9399.
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. I don't know about you, but I really did like how Helen talked about turning that resolution word to aspiration. We have more now with Helen Tarleton from Nashville Psych. Well, I have to ask you, Helen, how often do you make a resolution or an aspiration at the beginning of the year?
Well, here's the thing. I love rhythm in life. I love that. And in fact, I think my sense of what wellness is how we can establish a really nice rhythm for ourselves in our lives, because the things that allow us to have wellness are pretty easy. I mean, we know what they are. It's nutrition, sleep, exercise, a creative outlet, socialization. Like that doesn't go away. That's always what the components are. But it's really how those components interact with each other that what's the loudest and softest, and sort of it's like a drum set, what the sounds are in each of those components. And so the rhythm of, in January, kind of recommitting to some of the things that are important to us, I think is really beautiful. And I'm glad that we have that for each other. And then again, in social science, like the fact that we share that with each other is another really powerful way to sort of remain steadfast in our growth.
100%. Gosh, I have so many questions, Helen, but I'm just going to ask two final ones. One being, for some of us to make it successful, we do need the help of someone else, such as a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist. How do we pick the right person, or how do you know that you're engaging with someone that is going to be able to help you? So,
because you feel it when you are talking to them, and you have to believe that it can be very different people for different people. Some people like to have very quiet, carefully, people who carefully think about what they're going to say and are, demonstrating their listening that way. And other people love to be engaged with people who are storytellers who, that's how you can tell that they're really paying attention. So as I'm saying this, I would say the one way to do that is to really feel deeply that the person is listening and paying attention to what you're saying, and sort of, even at the beginning, demonstrating to you that they're really getting what you're bringing to them. So, and I'll say too, I want to say that, in my opinion, being involved in a practice is incredibly valuable. And I'm very biased towards Nashville Psych. And, if anything I said in this interview sounds, that it has any wisdom, it's because we've had these beautiful conversations this week about this topic, just because it is the first week of January. And so I've been able to mine the best of the wisdom of Nashville Psych for to share these ideas. But the other part of that is, when you're in a good practice, you have colleagues who kind of help you be the best that you can be. And so I think it's to pay attention to kind of what the overall practice feels like, and then in addition to that, who you think you might resonate within the practice.
Gotcha. Well, Helen, any final thoughts before you leave us this morning?
I think I would say that this kind of change is a way for us to engage in the creative process. That when we decide to make changes for ourselves, it's a way that we engage in the creative process. And we come from, the creative process, the great creative process in the universe. And so change is a part of that, and it's natural. And it's if we can learn to what our own particular style of making changes are, which means that we learn our own particular style of being creative, we have a tool for ourselves that is just irreplaceable. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Helen Tarleton, a psychotherapist with Nashville Psych. We appreciate you and all of the information that you have just provided us this morning. Just thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful year.
Thank you, Stefanie. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We'll be right back.
Hello, here's the latest news and weather from Main Street Media TV. Portland police officers braved freezing waters to rescue Tiffany Biscoe, whose van was submerged due to heavy rainfall. She was later charged with driving under the influence. TriStar Northcrest Medical Center awards a $1,500 scholarship to surgical technician Paula Boggle, recognizing her dedication and commitment to further her career in the Vol State nursing program. Pulaski resident Tyler Palmapetti, 40, faces charges of child sexual exploitation following a search warrant execution on February 12th, with further charges expected. Fairview Fire Department's Chief Scott Hughes received the Chief Fire Officer designation, while Captain Jesse Woodard and Fire Marshal Sean Sullivan were honored for their service, bolstering the department's professionalism and community service. 2 people narrowly escaped death after their car plunges into the swollen Piney River from Interstate 40 due to heavy rainfall, the Tennessee City Fire and Rescue reports. For more news and weather, visit us online at mainstreetmediatn.com. Thanks for watching.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. We look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow morning.
Hadn't forgot that. You know, hey, let's go Stroke.
People are amazed at the variety and quality of guests we bring into Main Street Sports today. But when you've been in this business for nearly 40 years and you never throw away a phone number, it's pretty easy. Right, Wade?
Absolutely. And Wynn agrees with me. Check out some of our guests featured on Main Street Sports today.
Step back and catch my breath. But I expect nothing less from you, big boy. Let's get going.
We make it work pretty good. So
the fans are tremendous. It's fantastic.
It was really amazing.
They call it performance. Yeah.
From preps to pros, you never know who's going to stop by. So be sure to listen to and watch Main Street Sports today from 2 to 4 p.m. daily on the MSM TV app.